Okay.
So what I wanted to get in this is a demonstration of how the hips move in Tai Chi. So what you'll see is a lot of movements, and I tend to really amplify or try to bring out the hips in all my movements, almost to the point of it's a little bit of extreme. But when you do, let's say the first move, parting the wild horse's mane, the way I like to do it, if you see the other video with the wide stance, your hands up. I go back, I turn my hips, and you can see this is turning to the right. I turn my hips, in the beginning move, you just go straight back, you turn a little bit in the opposite direction. Then as your foot turns, use your toe to turn your pelvis. Your toe will turn your leg, which will turn your hips, which will turn your shoulder to about the corner, about 45 degrees. As you step up here, your weight shift gently over forward. As you pull in this leg, this rotates upward a little bit. You feel a pull at the iliopsoas, at the hip muscle, and you bring your knee up. And as you bring your knee up, like a kick, you bring your leg up, your knee up. This swivels in a little bit more counterclockwise, so that your hips are now facing almost as far this direction as you can. So almost, if you can get 90, that's a little too much. You want to be about 45, the direction of this foot. But you can see how in this simple move, you go back, there's all this power as you turn here, here, to here. So that's where the power comes from in Tai Chi, where they talk about hip movement and rotation. It's because it's all anchored in the big muscles, the biggest muscles of your body, in your leg, making you rotate at the pelvis. So that's where the power comes in. So if you're here, come back, turn 45, step up, rotate the pelvis anteriorly, posteriorly, and forward. What I like to do with my next step is keep the hips in this direction. Some people will turn the hips here and then step forward, and you'll see you get a forward power this direction of the staff. But from here, I like to step with the inside of the foot, kind of like a side kick or stomp. Then as I do part the wild horse's mane, my hands stay in front of my body, but I rotate the pelvis. And you can see how this rotation would turn into a good throw. If someone was right over here and I was pulling them this way, you can see how it's the power of the legs that actually cause them to go into the throw. So let me just do a couple of the movements. From here, 45 degrees, step up, pull the pelvis in, hover, bend the back leg, place, weight shift, unwind the hip. Okay? Go back. I stepped correctly so I can lift this leg without extra movement. Step forward, turn the hips, keep the hips kind of in a spring motion this direction, step. Should be able to bring it back and forth, and then unwind. So, where you can also see this is when people do wave hands like clouds. When you see people do wave hands like clouds, they tend to use just their hands. And you'll see them do this. Really, or you'll see them step, and you can see the staff isn't moving, it's all hands. The hands are going away from the body. So what I like to do is that you do controlled stepping, and the hands stay in front of the body, but you turn your pelvis. You can see this angle isn't any more than my hands. My hands are basically parallel to the staff. I step up, I switch, put the foot down. Even in the small movement in the other direction, as I put the foot down, the pelvis sweeps to the right. I switch, I step, hover, place. This is still to the right. As I step, I rotate it. Here, the staff is at an angle this direction. I step, I rotate to here, I step, and I rotate to here. So if you notice, my hands stay in front of my body, but my hips do the turning. So it's really my hips. I'm not doing this. It might look like it, but I'm doing this. And you can see, if someone was standing behind me, this has power, but not nearly as much as this power. So if you were going to keep your arm stiff with the staff, that's where the power would come from. Okay.